Really excited to kick off this milestone party, which is very special to us as well as the community. 800 SRM, when you think of number 800, you think of so many rounds, all the effort that would have gone into it, the writers, the admins, the coordinators, and even the members who have prepared hard and competed in so many rounds that we have hosted. So we started 20 years back, and we built something. We built something that was meant to be managed and run by the community itself. So we had an idea. We thought we can run these programming competitions, do ratings, do chess style ratings, and build something that community runs and manages by itself. So, and all these years, 20 rounds, thanks to every one of you who has been a part of it. Thanks to every one of you who's planning to be a part of it. And it's been a great journey. 800 rounds, 20 years, 20 TCOs, and we just can't you know say enough thank yous for whatever you have done. And once again, on behalf of the whole Topcoder team, thanks to everyone who has been a part of it. So really excited to bring this all together to this particular day, to this particular round, and host this virtual party, and then eventually do a round that is coming up in next 2 hours. And to begin, we have a great day planned. We're going to move in and have a panel with the grades, and then we will talk about what's coming at Topcoder. Then I'll take 15-20 minutes to introduce the newbies, how things work at Topcoder and how do you compete in an SRM, and you will have enough time to go in, register, and get ready for the round. Once we do that, we will begin with the round. We will be here. So misof is the coordinator. He will be here. I'll be here, and we'll be around. If you have any questions here, you can ask us here, or you can also ask us questions in the competition arena. And after the round, we will come back here and we will do a post-match analysis, and we will go through the problems, and there will be a whiteboard, and all these grades should be back to discuss the problems with you. So you can ask your doubts in the chat, talk to them, and we will be doing our best to clarify the problem. So that's the planned party for today, and excited to kick things off with the great panel. And I have some questions for them. So the guys you are seeing on the screen right now, except me, of course, have almost competed together in more than 1,500 rounds among themselves, and not even competed but written or admin or coordinated. So and a lot of TCOs, of course, TCO championships, trophies. So you see, the people you are seeing on the screen right now have a lot of experience. You can ask your questions about competitive programming, and I'm sure you know them. They're famous enough to be known in the competitive programming community. So get your questions ready, and you can start asking them. I'll begin with my own questions, and if you have any follow-up questions, put them into the chat, and we will bring the questions up to them and have them answer these questions. Awesome. So once again, thank you, misof, Tourist, and Petr. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking our time, and thanks a lot for all what you have done over the years for the community, all what you have done to grow, to help the members, and in whichever form. Thank you so much for that. And so SRM 800, wow. Do you guys still remember your first SRM? Like when was that, and where did you do it, and how little you were? So do you guys remember your first SRM?
I think I started doing SRMs in 2005. That means, yeah, almost 16 years ago.
Wow.
I think the numbers were in 200 range, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, good old times. I think the format did not change actually, so it was as fun as it is now. Yeah, but it was definitely a long time ago.
And still doing that with the same passion, same energy, like when you go into a round.
And I think back in 2005 I did actually practice, and now I don't. So I guess you could say that passion is lower now.
We don't see that. We still though. Either we are getting slower too. Yeah. What about you, Tourist?
Yeah, my first SRM was in 2006. I didn't remember the number. I remember the year, but I didn't remember the number. I checked it now. It was 308. So wow. It's almost 500 SRMs ago. And I've done quite a decent amount of them. Like I haven't missed a lot. I'm not sure. But I think the main thing about SRMs for me that at that time was that, yeah, I had been doing some school competitions by the time. By the time I started Topcoder, but I was using Pascal as my programming language, as my pretty much only programming language, and Topcoder has never had Pascal available. And so it was like the first reason for me to learn C++ at that time, because I was basically only using C++ for two things. One thing was for participating in Topcoder competitions, and the other thing was to solve problems which required STD set, because it's a bit annoying to implement it to Pascal. And so, yeah, I guess it's developed me in a good way since then.
Of course. What about you, misof?
I just checked that my first SRM was December 2004. So when I think about the years in between, I'm starting to feel a bit old. But yeah, it's been hell of a ride to go through all of this. First as a competitor, and now as one of the organizers of these events. Definitely, it also helped me become better, not just in algorithmic problem solving, but I think in general made me a better person. I really love this computing algorithmic community and people trying to help each other be better. And this is the spirit that has been with Topcoder for the entire 20 years that I remember.
Wow. So I mean, that's SRMs. But how did you guys get into competitive programming at the first? Like, how did it start? So as Tourist said, I mean, you're doing some competitions at school. So I mean, what was the motivation to get into competitive programming? Was it IOI? Was it ICPC? Or like, how did you guys get into competitive? So we'll start with you, Peter.
Yeah, I have always been there.
In chronological order, right?
Yeah.
I think I have always been there. I can't even say how did I get into it. I think, yeah, there is actually a long time ago, Coder was doing feature stories on its website. And I think there is a feature story which probably has more accurate information about my start of my career than I can remember now. But as far as I remember, yes, it was. Yeah, I was having this programming lessons at school, and the teacher told me that maybe you should try this programming contest. They can be fun. And so it was not IOI, of course. It was like on the level of our school first, and then going further. But still, I think it was 11 at the time.
Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar. I mean. I was a bit younger. I was, I guess, 8, and yeah, of course, it was not like, hey, Gennady, do you want to start doing competitive programming to get to IOI? Like, you don't pose questions like that, right? It was just like, was it something I was willing to try? And I was like doing well enough in math at that time, and I mean, for an 8-year-old, right? Not in general, but anyway. And yeah, my parents are programmers, so that was kind of natural to try.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, yeah, that's interesting. I mean, when you have the ecosystem at home and you know what our parents doing, you kind of get a motivation to get into it and start doing that, right?
Yeah, of course.
What about you, misof?
Yeah, like more or less the same story. I started with some math competitions at ages like 9, 10. And like one of the advantages of Slovakia being so small is that within this community of like talented youth in STEM, everybody knows everybody else. So as soon as you go to one or two of these competitions and qualify for some preparation camp or something like that, you then discover other people of your age with similar interests, which is something you maybe didn't have at your regular school. and now you start enjoying this new community where you can talk to people with similar interests and do something together and see other older friends as role models and so on. So gradually I became more involved as a competitor in these Olympiad style competitions, and then like naturally progressed from doing just math to doing both math and programming. And yeah, I was quite lucky in that Slovakia had a really great tradition of maintaining a small but very dedicated community to algorithmic competitions. So if you look up the statistics of the old IOIs, you have a much smaller set of countries taking the medals. And back then, the internet wasn't so ubiquitous as it is now. So you had to have a country with a strong program that could actually prepare the contestants to score medals. So it was in some sense easier than it is now. And yeah, I was lucky that I got good mentors who were able to prepare me and help me along the way. And then like starting from maybe my first IOI, it was mostly in my hands, being interested in problems and trying my hand at solving everything. And
wow.
And until these days, it's like Petr mentioned that nowadays I don't have the time to practice anymore. So something like solving problems for fun is completely out of the question. There is no time for that, but I'm just living on past glory as many of us do. But I still do take part in the occasional algorithmic and similar competitions. We are now looking forward to the next hashcode qualification, which is in a few months and so on. So I'll try to take part at least several times a year in some contests to keep myself in shape.
Yeah, and I think coordinating also helps, right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I do solve an awful lot of problems. It's just not for practice.
Yeah.
It's more like work, but it's still fun.
So do you guys think your lives would have been different if you had not had SRMs or competitive programming in your life? Like it's been 15, 16 years for all of you into competitive or into SRMs. So do you think your lives would have been a little different if you have not had competitive or SRMs? And I mean, and how different would it have been? Like, have you ever imagined like how would your life would have been?
Well, I think as Michal has pointed out, most of our friends are from the same community, and by this day, I'm mostly talking to people who used to participate in programming competitions when they were younger, like myself. Yeah. So I think this definitely has a pivotal role in my whatever development as a person and so on. And I think I would be doing something else and have a different community. And it's hard to imagine actually how it would look like.
I'm sure. I mean, you guys compete in so many competitions, right? It's hard to imagine like not doing them in the part of the day or getting rated or like that's, and then not having those friends you've had over the years and the tournaments, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're telling it right. I mean, it has kind of like all these competitions, including Topcoder SRMs and TCOs, like have just formed me as a person. So there's not much to say about what could happen otherwise, because I don't even have a sneak peek at that, you know.
What about you, misof? Like, have you ever thought about it? Life without SRMs or competitive programming?
Like most of the choices we make in life are like kind of greedy. We do the best choices we can with the available information. And looking back, I'm happy that I made the choices I made and with where they put me in life. So I probably could imagine different futures for me if there was no Topcoder, if there were no SRMs, if there were no other programming competitions. I would have maybe ended on the opposite end of the world doing something similar, but I'm happy with where I am, and I'm grateful that I had this opportunity to have this as part of my life.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and we are glad that you guys made it a part of your life, and we are able to learn from you a lot today, and see you guys compete at TCOs, making it exciting, and everything you guys have done. So, okay. I mean, this is a question that I've been thinking since we started thinking about SRM 800, and oh, we have Neil here. Yeah. So, hey
everyone.
Neil.
Sorry for running behind. Can you guys hear me?
Hi Neil, yeah.
Okay.
You missed the hard questions, so you will have
Oh,
easy
great. Skip those.
Okay, so yeah, you're talking about how would your life would have been if you had not had competitive programming or SRMs in your life. Like, have you ever imagined a life without if you have not had if you had not got into competitive programming or SRMs in general, like what would have been your life like? Have you ever had a thought on that? And I mean, we had great answers from. We had Petr, who told that most of his friends in the community has been a part of because of competitive programming. Tourist said he's never imagined that kind of a life. And what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, so I got into competitive programming in high school when I was kind of coming from a background in doing like math contests instead. I did math counts in America in middle school, which was like the biggest middle school contest. And then the kind of natural route was to do the math Olympiads that eventually leads to IMO and all of that. But yeah, I ended up finding competitive programming and just enjoying that a lot more. Something about just instead of writing a proof down of a problem, you actually, code up, a program that automatically solves any, test case, any version of the problem was just really cool to me. And yeah, I think if it hadn't been for that, I think, yeah, my life would just be totally different. Like maybe I wouldn't have ended up in tech and engineering, career-wise. And yeah, I don't even know what I would be doing now. It might be something totally different.
Yeah, I mean, so again, I mean, you've never thought about it. But yeah, that's a question after the round. So you guys can go.
Well, I kind of thought about it, but it's honestly not even clear what I would be doing instead. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that I think the community that adds to your life, the competitions, the problem-solving skills, and everything. As a competitive programmer, you guys build. It's hard to imagine a life. And when you guys have already competed for 15, 16 years, it's certainly difficult to. I mean, okay, a lot of questions about the past. So it's SRM 800. How do you guys envision the competitive programming? How do you guys think it has evolved, and how do you guys think, and where do you think it's going? Like, where do you think it can go, and how do you envision it? Like sports or what? Like, how do you see it? We'll start with Petr.
Can we start with somebody else instead?
Misof?
Yeah, sure. So competitive programming is definitely still evolving and quite quickly. I think one of the cleanest places when you can see the evolution still happening is already the IOI. So already at the secondary school level, we can still see changes in the set of topics, changes in the focus on different areas and so on. And especially the main thing that has been changing in the past 10, 15 years is, I already mentioned it once today, the spread of internet, the spread of access to quality materials to study, to practice, the spread of places like Topcoder, Codeforces, CodeChef, and so on and so on, online judges, places where you can practice on your own if you have nothing better. And this has been a huge difference. I mentioned that when I was growing up and practicing for the IOI, it was the case that each of the good countries had its own national program where you had some camps, competitions, lectures, and so on to prepare the contestants. And if you were not born in one of those countries and made it into one of those programs. Then you were kind of out of luck, and it was really hard to find materials to learn. And nowadays, if a talented kid can learn basic English and has some kind of internet access, it's quite easy to get access to decent resources where you can practice, study, find a community that will help you, guide you along the way. And what this means is that we are getting more and more people interested in competitive programming and having the chance at learning and becoming better problem solvers. And this benefits in the end the entire human population, because then these people are those who are going to all of the top tech companies to invent the stuff we'll be using in 10 or 20 years. And they will literally change the world. So yeah, so I think we are still watching this kind of an evolution in competitive programming. More people means that you get the same distribution of skills. So you get more people at the very top, more people who are pushing each other to be even better, to push the boundaries even farther, to be able to solve even harder problems. So it's an interesting area, and you cannot rest your head for a while. Like in all of the IT, you have to keep learning, keep following the trends year to year, so that you are still on top of your game.
So yeah, and that's more of a professor answer. That it helps you learn and it helps you grow.
Yeah,
yeah. Where do you see
for me, this has been the most important aspect of these programming competitions. I'm not doing them to be the best. I'm not doing them to catch all the Pokemon or whatever. I'm doing them to because I'm interested in solving problems. I'm interested in cracking puzzles, and this gives me puzzles to solve, and this helps me being better at solving them, not just in this kind of practice environment of programming competitions, but also that in real life, with real life problems.
Do you think the competitive part of it, or the structure of the competition, the rankings, the ratings, like it is exciting? I mean, of course, learning and growing is one aspect, and then the competition part of it, the ratings, like, is that exciting for the new members, right? Like that's.
I think that's like very individual. For many of us, and myself including, the ratings do matter, and there have been definitely years in my life when I was really following everyone's ratings and thinking about it and looking at size, saying that if I place in this region, then my rating will go up, and what can I do to optimize my chances to become a number one rated, and so on. But it's also perfectly okay if this is not your thing, if you are not doing the competitive programming for the reason of having the biggest rating, but just to learn. It's there are many different ways how you can do this competitive programming contests and benefit from them.
What about you, Tourist? Where do you see SRMs going, and how do you see they've evolved?
I mean, the answer of misof was so complete. It's really hard to add a lot to it because it kind of has all the.
So we'll not start with misof from the next question.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess he should just be the last to just complete all our answers, right? I mean, what I would maybe reiterate is that you cannot just stay on the same place. Like, it's not like you just do nothing and then in 5 years, like it's not like you win everyone and then you just do nothing and then in 5 years you come back and then just win again, right? It just not working that way, and you have to keep like in trend, right? And even if you're like a coordinator like misof, or if you're a contestant, you have to just still be in touch. As for where we could go, it's hard to say. I mean, it's quite important, right? Because like for 20 years, the format of SRMs has not really changed, right? As you have, and maybe there is not much need then to change it, because like I don't know, there are different ways of holding a programming competition, but all in all of them are programming competitions. So as long as Topcoder holds events for people all over the world to learn programming algorithms and study from the best, it's all good.
Yeah, I think I mean, so I was taking this question to a direction where, I mean, we have seen, we saw lockout kind of style tournament being invented, and we at Topcoder even are trying various ways to make this as a esports kind of a thing, where you see the screens, you see it live, we do the commentaries, and you guys have been a part of it. I mean, we envision it to become the esports of programming, and we bring in the best of the best, and we talk about it. We talk about the problems, and I mean, and a lot of members are doing things on Twitch, explaining problems, writing blogs, and I mean, it's like sports commentary happening. So in I mean, in terms of competitive programming growing into kind of an esports is something we envision at Topcoder, and we try and bring that kind of ecosystem when we think of the competitive programming growing into, and of course members are thinking of new kinds of like competition, like Andrew and Scott, they came up with lockout during TCO last year, and so that's the thought. And of course, I mean, and we have misof, who's always focused towards learning and growing and making sure problems are making members learn something out of the rounds, and they are growing themselves. So yeah, that's the whole package we are thinking about. Yes.
Yeah. So I do think over time it will become more and more of a sport. I think traditionally it's been hard to make competitive programming into a spectator sport, because a lot of it is happening in your head. You're reading the problem and then you just think about it. Sometimes you just think about it for an hour in your head. But I think a lot of the new formats are really helping to kind of bring out the real process there. And I think there's streams, there's new formats like lockout, and I think also just like things like TCO with live commentary, on-site tournaments with live commentary do help make it more accessible and exciting. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this keeps moving forward.
Once humanity finds a better way to process brain signals in a meaningful way, you can have a better spectatorship.
It sounds like some Elon Musk stuff.
Yeah, you got me.
I think it's still also important to see, I think, what Michael also mentioned. Yeah, Gennady said, we can only reiterate what he said, but that unlike almost all other esports, at least to my perception, like whatever Dota or chess or any other things that people compete online, in competitive programming, there is, even if you're competing by yourself, if you're like practicing and solving a problem, you can still derive a lot of satisfaction from the mathematical rigor and cracking the puzzle and so on. And so in that sense, I think there will still be maybe the part that is not as much for spectators, but for competitors themselves, that makes competitive programming more unique and interesting to do than just sports.
That's a great point, guys. All right, we have some questions in the chat as well, so I'll bring them up. I think this one is for you, misof, and then I'll. So if you created a problem, misof, for an SRM and nobody solved it, how do you feel? Is that kind of like?
Well, this actually happened to me, and not just once. The memory it brings up is the very first round I wrote for Topcoder as a problem setter. And I kind of horribly misjudged the difficulty of the easy problems. So the Division 2 set had people solving the easy, then had many people submit, and almost all of them failed the medium. I think it had 2 correct solutions, and nobody solved the hard in the Division 2. So that was kind of a disaster. Since then, yeah, I took it mostly as a learning opportunity, because problem setting is also a skill. It's a different skill from problem solving. It's obviously it correlates, but it also has different aspects, and you need to learn it, and judging the difficulty of problems is very, very hard, and especially on the very top. So it's easier to learn to judge difficulty of those easier problems, like statistically, you can, there will be somewhere between the like 40-50 percentile or something. It's much harder with those very difficult problems. So if you are writing problems for online or on-site finals of an international programming competition, you are trying to get the difficulty just right, to ideally have just the winner solve everything, and this is really difficult to do. So on one hand, it always feels bad if we get the difficulty of problems wrong, because we are trying to make the problems as enjoyable as possible for everybody involved, and also like you learn the most when you are trying to solve problems that are just outside your comfort zone. So we are trying to provide at least one such problem for most of the competitors involved. If we fail to do this, it's a failure like any other, and it hurts because we feel you didn't do as good a job as any. But the important thing is, as with everything else, learn from your mistakes. That's what I think about that.
Yeah, I see you in the admin lobby. Whenever nobody's solved the hard one, div one hard, we have that moment where we are like, oh, somebody should solve it. Somebody should solve it. So I can like just add to your answer that I've seen you, or somebody
there is always the like jitters when we have one or two first submissions on a very difficult hard problem. We are like always rush off to check whether they pass the systems, because the tests are already running in the background. As a competitor, you don't see them yet. You only see them when also the challenges are processed and the systems are finalized. But we already see the intermediate results of the test we already had prepared. So we go and check as quickly as we can. Did somebody actually solve it? Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's the 1.5 hours of adminning around and being there in the arena is not just easy. Sometimes it's just solving things out to make sure that things are going well. Yeah, I've seen us doing that, so I can really.
If everything, sorry, go.
Go ahead.
So if everything goes well, it's kind of just spectating when we are in the arena and answering some questions, clarification requests. When things go wrong, if there is something broken, if we missed something in one of the problems, which occasionally does happen, then you see something like in Formula One, they have these pit stops when they change the wheels on the car. So it sometimes feels that we are trying to do the same, but with the car still in full motion. So if you can swap the wheel before everybody notices there is a problem, and if you cannot, then run out the safety car and try to salvage the situation as well as you can. So everybody is just human, and mistakes do happen, and they make our life, let's call it, interesting.
You were saying something to us.
I mean, I'm first and foremost problem solver, but I have set a number of problems for Topcoder as well, and outside Topcoder. And about the question, like, what do you feel when no one solves it? Like first of all, I always try to do it to make it not happen, right? I just want someone to solve every problem. I don't think that setting a problem which is unsolvable for the contest is meaningful, but even though it still happened a number of times to my problems, that no one solved them. And the feelings are, one feeling is that if no one is solving it, then you just worry if maybe something is wrong about the problem. Maybe the examples are wrong, and that's why no one is submitting, because they can't pass them. Maybe you have your solution wrong, or like the problem statement is written incorrectly, or maybe it causes some misunderstandings. So worry is one feeling, and the other feeling is I'm rooting hard for people who are actually trying to solve the hardest problem. And sometimes even like in other contests where you usually make more than one submission, unlike Topcoder. In Topcoder, you usually just submit once. You sometimes resubmit, but not often. But in other competitions, you sometimes submit, you get some instant verdict on your submission, and then try to resubmit. And then if someone submits the hardest problem and then gets it incorrect, you just, sometimes I just go and try to debug their code, just try to find the mistake, and to see if they're actually close.
On the right path, yeah. Nice. I mean, you guys mostly have been problem solvers, so I'll ask a question around that. So what happens when you see a problem statement and like you see a problem statement? What really happens? Do you start on a pen and paper, or do you get into coding, or like how do you process the things, and like do you go and read it again, or do you like read it in one pass, or make sure you are reading it very diligently and making sure you are taking into account everything and taking notes? Because sometimes problem statements are long with big stories, and you really have to go in and dig out something.
I think these days problem statements are really well written on Topcoder and on other platforms. And most typically, after I read it once, I already have the mathematical problem in my head, and I can focus on solving that in most cases. So I don't think I typically reread the statement, if only to check for some corner cases or something that is not clear from this picture I have in my head.
What about you, Neil?
Yeah, for me, I think it varies depending on the difficulty of the problem, because if I know it's an easy problem, then I know I need to do it quickly, and so I'm a lot more likely to read it and just kind of the first thing I think of, maybe I'll just start coding. On a harder problem, I think it makes more sense to read a bit more slowly, because one of the worst things you can do is misread the hard problem and just spend half an hour on the wrong problem. Whereas for an easy problem, at least, if you do that, it only should cost you a few minutes in comparison. But yeah, so it depends on the difficulty of the problem. And yeah, usually I definitely relate to what Petr said, where basically you kind of read the problem and you try to extract like a mathematical model of it in your head, so you can think about that, like a simplified version, kind of, okay, here's what I need to focus on.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the statements are pretty good these days, indeed. And so as you read the problem statement, well, sometimes the solution just emerges like in your mind somehow instantly. I guess it goes from experience, but even if not, you usually try to figure out what the main difficulty is. Like if there is a solution, like the problem is like it usually constitutes several parts, right? And if there is some part which you don't understand how it can be done, you just try to figure out, especially this part, like a related thing is that if you have a problem, you can just try to solve it for a smaller case, like find the smallest thing, like the essential thing in the problem which you cannot solve. For example, like the typical way maybe is that if you're given a graph problem, you can try to solve a tree problem first or a line problem first, and then if you can figure out the solution for some special cases, maybe and you know that this special case has to be solved with some approach, then it often gives you a good hint about the main case as well.
Got it. Okay, let me move on and come to tournaments. So, I mean, you guys said that competitive programming is more about learning, problem solving, and going in there and trying to solve the puzzle you are attempting. When it comes to tournaments, you guys attend a lot of tournaments, code jams, TCOs, hacker cups. I mean, how does the competitiveness come in there? Like, does it come into picture? Does it like do you bring that in when you go in a tournament, or you're competing in a round 4 and trying to qualify to TCO? Or how does it happen? I mean, how do tournaments motivate or drive you towards competitive programming? I think I've had most of you answer this at TCO as well. It's more about coming in and meeting everyone. But I'd like to hear it again in detail, like how do tournaments drive you to, if to go in and do competitive and be competitive for competitive programming?
I can't deny it. Winning is cool, so I think I do derive motivation from trying to win, definitely.
That was specific.
In particular, in tournaments, there's often a situation where the optimal strategy to, let's say, qualify for the next round can be different from just solving the most interesting problem that there is. So you have to adjust sometimes, and maybe solve the easiest problem that will guarantee you a place in the top 10 instead of trying to solve the hard problems that could give you the first place, but then you could fail completely. And then also there are quite a few competitors who do the opposite. So they always go for the most interesting problem and they don't care about the result as much. But it seems so this way from the outside. Maybe they just think that the chances this way are the highest. So yeah, I definitely try to optimize my performance in tournaments or even SRMs when there was this the new point scoring system to qualify for the TCO. So it's very good feeling when you get place 10 by 1 point over place 11, so you get 4 instead of 3 points to the SRM leaderboard. Yeah.
What about you, Neil?
Yeah, I really love the strategy element of competitive programming, and I think, I mean, that is one big thing that differentiates it from just being, a very academic pursuit where it could just be like, trying to solve this problem, in the best complexity possible and spending like forever on it. And yeah, I think with tournaments specifically, you tend to like modify your strategies for the specific goal you have. So, if it's qualification round, you're just trying to get top maybe 25 or 100 or whatever it is. And then so often if you're, a very top competitor, you'll probably be more careful, check things more carefully, go more slowly, things like that. Whereas in the finals, it's complete opposite. Generally, you want to take more risks. You might want to go for the very last problem, which will be a lot of points, even though you probably won't get it. And I don't know, maybe Gennady takes a little less risks in some cases, but I do think even for him, like, I've talked to him a bit. He said for qualifications rounds, he'll definitely go slowly, but I can definitely see he's like picking up the pace in the finals too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a very competitive person, and tournaments as such, definitely the great part of them is that you go to meet people and see them and like interact in whatever way. And yeah, the tournaments themselves are also a great part of all these events. And when it's some on-site or online in our 2020 case competition time, I'm usually pretty pumped up about that. As for strategy, I mean, first of all, Topcoder standard format, like SRM format, is definitely one of the most strategic, because you can't see all the problems. Like, I mean, when you can see all the problems, it's also strategic, but in a different way. In Topcoder, you cannot see all the problems at once, so you just go from incomplete information, from the standings somehow, from the point values, and so on. And that definitely makes it interesting. Yeah, there are different things about going for top 10 or top 1 is definitely a very different, these are very different scenarios. So when you're going for top 10, when I need to qualify for something, I usually try to be as careful as possible, because usually I know that I it also depends on your general, how you feel about your own. I mean, I know that I probably will have some leeway and I can spend some time checking my solutions usually. But if from the standings it turns out that I'm behind a lot of people, I'll try to speed up and maybe be less careful. It always depends on what happens around you, you have to adapt. And as for the final rounds of the competitions, yeah, you want to win. And there are different ways to come to tournaments, to final rounds.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, I guess, if you don't feel like you're going to be faster on the easier problems, you can just go to the harder problems and try to beat people because you just gain more points from them. And that's something like, if, for example, someone goes for the hard problems and I go for the easy problems, that's something like maybe even if I solve the easy problems very, very quickly, that's something that can beat me in any case, just because you get more points from them. Yeah. So it's always interesting, like you cannot predict what will happen. I would say that for me, still going from easy to hard is probably the best strategy. Like it's the most stable strategy.
Have you ever tried the other strategy?
Yeah, for some of the TCO finals, I tried going starting with 1,000, or maybe starting with, yeah, I think one final I started with 1,000 and just failed miserably. I couldn't solve the 1,000, and then I couldn't even solve the 250 and 500. Like I ended up with 0. And so for some time I tried 250, then 1,000, then 500. And yeah, I think it also didn't quite work for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bad thing about going left-right is that sometimes you solve the easy and the medium, and someone solves the easy and the hard, and you just get beaten by that. Yeah. But then you get like second or third. That's also pretty good, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's competition strategies. I mean, we did see. I mean, and the strategy sometimes might fail because, I mean, if you remember this year's semifinal 1 and semifinal 2, TCO semifinal 1 was in terms of compared to semifinal 2 was a little bit harder. And you know, somebody who started with the hard one would have like spent a lot of time on the hard and would have never. So it's always probably easier to start with the easy and or you know, depends. I mean, yeah. I'm sure. I mean, you guys would have set your you know, cutoff time sometimes as well. Like if you're starting with hard, you know, I've seen some experienced competitors. They leave hard after a particular time. They know that, oh, I'm not going to spend more time on this, and now quickly finish up with easy and medium, or even look at other scores and find out how much time it would take me to solve these problems. So I'll jump into them when that much time is left. So. Yeah, and you're having some questions in here. So, what do you guys do other than competitive programming? What are your hobbies when you're not doing competitive programming? Because you guys are always, you know, competing.
Can I just add one more thing to the last topic?
Yeah, please.
I was going to say, yeah, one thing about the strategy for competitive programming, one thing I really love is Topcoder's challenge phase. I think it's totally unique in competitive programming. I think it just adds so much of, you know, an exciting like. You know, in terms of competitive programming, I think my heart rate is probably the highest during Topcoder challenge phase. Just makes it so much more exciting, and like you just have to evaluate some really tough like risks. Like sometimes you're like, okay, I'm like 60% sure this solution is wrong. Should I go for it? Should I keep reading it? Is someone else going to get it if I read it more and wait? You know, it's like you have to make all these tough decisions.
Do you also look at the room chat to see if somebody else has also opened the problem?
Oh, I don't usually do that. It's like too many messages. I think if there were a way to like filter that would be really interesting, actually. Maybe if Topcoder had like a feature of like, here's all the people looking at this submission. Like while you're looking at it, you see like, oh, 2 other people are looking at this right now. Like that would actually be pretty crazy.
Actually, that's a great idea. Like if we could show in the standings, in the current standings, who is looking at what, I think that could be fun. Like near the cell with the submission, you could like have some icons of people.
And show who's looking at it, right?
Yeah.
Or even just like who's looking at the same thing I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
While you're looking at it, like while the code is there, there's also like, I don't know, Gennady's face or Peter's face.
Gennady's on it. Let me not. Go ahead. Sorry.
I try to go through the chat to see the unsuccessful challenges that happened, or if there are successful changes, who made them. But yeah, the chat runs quickly during challenge phase, and sometimes it just goes above the history limit, so you cannot even find it.
Yeah, I mean, so Neil said heart rate, and heart rate reminds me of TCO 19. So Petr would relate what really happened in the challenge phase of semi-final 2, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So Petr's heart rate was max, like, and he was like, "Why did I challenge?" And so Petr, do you want to share that what really happened there? You are on mute, Petr.
Yeah, I don't remember all details, but I think I was just being stupid. Kind of, I didn't look at the scoreboard and took a risk, which was basically, if the challenge was successful, would gain nothing, and when it failed, I would lose something. I didn't lose anything in the end, but it was completely unnecessary. I also wanted to say that there is one other aspect of the challenge phase, which is often overlooked, I think, is that you can actually read solutions from everybody in the division, not just in your room. I use it from time to time to see some solutions which have already been challenged, to see like what type of bugs I could be looking for in other solutions in my room.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point. Yes. Okay. Have you guys ever had any fan moment where you have had a member approach you, somebody when you are at airports or you're traveling or in a mall or somewhere, and find you out and say hi and like come to you? And have you guys ever had that moment?
I think it happened a couple of times, kind of apart from at the programming competitions. I think it happened maybe once at Geneva airport for me, and once I was walking downtown Mountain View in California, which I guess the second could count as a programming competition place, because so many people from programming competition in the world end up working in the valley.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tourist?
Yeah, I mean, definitely mostly it happens at programming competitions. And I can't really recall any specific times it happened in like other parts of life. But I guess for me, it usually felt awkward. I'm not sure why. I guess it's kind of irrational. And it should be totally fine, I guess. I guess if you see me, you can come and say hi. And I mean, I generally feel good about that, but sometimes I might react not perfectly, you know.
I mean, if you meet Tourist somewhere, you can start playing a game. He likes Dart and he plays that really well. I've had that opportunity, so yeah. So yeah,
We haven't played for a long time.
Yeah, and I think next TCO we probably after party we'll have a Dart game in there too. Yeah. So I think I skipped one question which we started. So what do you guys love to do other than competitive programming? What are your hobbies? So we'll start with misof.
Please. I like hiking. I have climbed quite a lot of reasonably tall mountains. My current record is, I think, something like 5,200 meters, and a bunch of mountains that were over 4,000. I used to play quite a lot of badminton. Nowadays, it's been a few years because I didn't have a person to go with to practice with. And nowadays, the sport number one I'm doing most of the time is disc golf. So this is like regular golf, but you play it with frisbees, and you are trying to get a frisbee into a basket with chains in as few throws as possible. And it's really fun. If you haven't heard about it, look it up and join us.
I haven't heard about it. Sounds fun.
Yep.
Is it played like on big fields, like the usual golf fields?
Yes, it has similar layouts. So a hole is something like maybe 100 to 200 meters, and you have to do it in 2, 3, 4 throws if you are really good.
Impressive.
So like in golf, you are choosing the stick you are using for the hit and to have a different trajectory of the ball. And here you have a collection of different molds of frisbees that have different flight characteristics, and it's like it has a problem-solving aspect. It's half of playing disc golf well is solving a puzzle: what disc to throw, how to throw it, angles. To shape the trajectory around the tree and behind the bush and everything. And the other half is sport when you actually have to do it.
What about you, Doris?
Board games, billiards, tennis, table tennis.
Whoa.
I mean, darts. But not often. Hiking when I have the option, but I don't do that often.
Do you get time between all your things going on, competitive programming, and taking out time for these things?
I mean, it's not like you do them often. I don't have like too strict of a schedule, so yeah.
What about you, Neil?
So one thing I like doing is I like lifting weights. I actually, like during this pandemic, I've set up a whole home gym here with like a bar and a rack and plates and everything. So that's been really nice to just do during this kind of quarantine situation. Since I know a lot of people like don't have access to that type of stuff, so that's been nice. Other things, I play a couple different games. I play like a pretty old game called Super Smash Bros. Melee. I think a lot of people may have heard of the newest Smash Bros. That was released, in the past couple of years. But that's like one that's like 4 iterations ago, and a couple other games here and there. Play some chess as well recently, just for fun, and then also one game I've been playing with Scott is Stardew Valley. So that's also been pretty fun. It's like it's a video game where you basically like have a farm and you're trying to, grow crops and like earn a bunch of money and then complete a bunch of goals and so on.
That's interesting. So is Scott also gymming? That's a fan question.
Oh, Scott does more like just like running outside.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, you guys did tell us during the TCO that you guys moved back to your hometown, and you're not in the Bay Area these days. So yeah.
Yeah, and in the Bay Area, like, there's no way I had enough space to set up any type of home gym. I was just in like a small apartment, but now I have an actual backyard and I can set up some space.
That's fun. Yes. What about you, Peter?
Yeah, I think this days.
Do you have a daughter?
I do have a brother, but he still lives in Moscow, so we don't meet up so frequently. Yeah, I think most of the time these days I'm for my free time spending time is with my family. I have a wife and a young daughter. So mostly my hobbies are whatever my daughter's hobbies are, like building stuff from Lego blocks, stuff like this. Also, yeah, in especially this winter, the only thing you're allowed to do in Switzerland is basically being outside. So we're doing some hiking and skiing and all the stuff. I'm also playing some board games, definitely, like Ticket to Ride, Splendor, Hanabi maybe. And surprisingly, you can play them quite. You can have quite a lot of fun playing them online with your friends, as we learned in last year.
That's fun. So one more question, Peter. I've seen you have had a lot of Topcoder t-shirts and you created a blanket out of it. And we had a question in the chat as well. How many t-shirts? How many Topcoder t-shirts have you had, and what have you done with that? So I've seen your blanket which you got created. But what about others? And I mean, are you still creating another blanket? Because I'm sure once you did that, there's still many t-shirts you've had after that.
first of all, it's not me, but my wife who made the blanket. I'm not. I definitely would not be able to do that. Yeah, I think I still have essentially when my what's the English word for it? Wardrobe, the place where you keep the t-shirts. Anyway, so when it gets full, we kind of t-shirts have two options because they can just be thrown away or donated if they're good enough yet, or they can go into this reserve for the next blanket. T-shirts which I think have some memory value or remind me of something nice. I still assemble them. Maybe Irina will make another blanket sometime. That's the plan. And in terms of number, I have no idea. I think quite possibly around 1,000, but I don't know. I was thinking more of 1,000, or maybe I'm overestimating.
So you don't have to buy t-shirts, right? Compete in a competition, win a t-shirt, and that's. What about you, Neil? How many t-shirts you have had until now, and what's happening with them, and are they in a cabinet?
Oh man, I don't even know the number. It's definitely double digits. I don't think I know where some of the oldest ones are, which is a little sad because I remember for TCO this past year we were trying to we wanted to record a little thing for everyone in a Topcoder shirt, and I tried to find some of my older shirts, and I don't know where they are actually. Like from 2000 maybe like 8 or 9 back in high school for me, TCHS shirts. But yeah, unfortunately I couldn't find them. So
yeah, that's I mean, I lost one of my oldest t-shirts. I remember. I can relate how it feels. Yes. What about you, Tourist?
Yeah, I do have a Topcoder high school t-shirt in my place. But yeah, I have no idea about the number. It has to be in 3 digits for sure. And yeah, I haven't had any blankets, and I haven't actually even like lost or thrown away a lot of them. I think I haven't moved a lot, and I have been kind of careful about them. And I'm not sure. I mean, there's definitely some pool of t-shirts I use more often than others, but all in all, most of my t-shirts are in a pretty good shape because since I have a lot of them, I don't wear one of them too often, so it doesn't get worn out. So I have some pretty well-looking t-shirts from 2008 and.
Which is your favorite? Which is your favorite Topcoder t-shirt? I've seen you wearing one of them like pretty frequent, like the one with the brackets, the white brackets.
Yeah, the one with the brackets is probably my favorite one. It's kind of minimalistic and also shows the Topcoder vintage. Yeah, but right now I'm wearing the TCO 21, and it's
yeah. What about you, misof? I mean, you haven't been winning a lot of Topcoder t-shirts lately. We should be sending t-shirts too.
I'm also representing Topcoder t-shirts at the moment. Yeah, I haven't. So during the last maybe 20 years, I think I only bought maybe 2 t-shirts during the entire time, and both of them were like supporting some cause or favorite band or something like that. And other than that, the supply from both like competitive programming and sometimes some conferences and such, you have too many t-shirts to use. Some of these competitive programming t-shirts are currently in Africa. A friend of mine was running a health clinic in Rwanda for several years, and whenever people went there to visit, we were bringing full suitcases of old stuff we didn't use anymore, t-shirts, glasses, whatever you can. And so we have nice pictures of little African kids in IMO and IOI t-shirts. And another one with a Cristiano Ronaldo t-shirt. Those are the most popular ones, obviously. Competitive programming goes later. So if you have a football t-shirt, that's the best thing.
I guess I can also add to my speech now. Like I have some t-shirts which I wear more in like daily life, and I have some t-shirts which I bring to on-site competitions more often. Like the bracket t-shirts is definitely the one I would be likely to not wear in usual situations, but bring it to like the event.
Okay. That's great. So I think I'll just ask a few, just like last one question, probably we are out of time, and then we will go into the other sessions we have planned. But I mean, so 800 SRMs, which one has been your favorite? Like, I'm sure you guys, I mean, we recently did a favorite problem thing with you guys, and you guys submitted your favorite problems. But I mean, still, any SRM you remember because of the place you would have given the SRM from, or I remember we had a forum thread which was like weirdest place you have given an SRM from. So or you remember it for the problems, or you remember it because you completed it like faster than very fast than you generally would have. So any SRM, if you had to pick, like which one would be your favorite SRM out of 500? Like I think 300s or 280s you guys have competed in. So, Petr, you're in mute.
The only one I think I can remember is the story is very similar to what Michal told earlier. I think it was the second SRM I was setting problems for, and the results were exactly the same. So 2 people solved the medium and nobody solved the hard.
Was it the same SRM?
No, I don't think so. And yeah, I think this one I definitely still remember. Yeah, also because of one of my friends, Vladislav Isinbayev, was having his, I think, second Topcoder match, and in the first one he participated in Division 2 and he won it and moved to Division 1, and then he comes to my SRM and that he didn't solve any problem and moved to Division 2 back. So I think he is one of the kind of people who are kind of regularly appear at TCO and has participated in 2 Division 2 SRMs because of me. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Neil? Yeah.
So this one's kind of funny, but I think I would have to go with SRM 777 because so that was one where I think you guys decided to make a $777 prize for the top 1 and 2 in Div 1, and I just remember, before starting, I think I commented to Scott like, "Oh, this is like almost just like free money for Gennady and Petr." and then I got first and Scott got second.
Yeah.
So definitely an unexpected outcome, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah. Glad you guys went up, and it was great to see 2 brothers at the top and beating everybody out and being there. Yes. What about you, Tourist? Which is your favorite SRM?
Yeah, I've definitely had a lot of memorable moments. I have set a couple of SRMs myself, and I guess I remembered them pretty well. I mean, at least one of them, like the hard problem, was solved by 2 people, and I guess the medium was also solved like by 30% or something like that. I mean, it was nothing disastrous, but still it was like exciting. And in general, I guess one of my first SRMs, I guess the third SRM I had was in Division 1. And I mean, I was super young at that time, and I'm not sure what I was thinking. I guess I made like 7 unsuccessful challenges for some reason out of nowhere. I don't know why. I still had a positive score for some reason, but I had a pretty low placement, and my rating was like, I was expecting to go to Division 2, and actually at that time I was thinking that's a good thing, because I felt like Division 1 are a bit hard, and maybe if I go to Division 2 I can win there and get a huge rating boost. And after the round, the ratings were recalculated, and my rating was 1199. While Division 1 starts from 1200.
Yeah.
And then in a couple of days, some cheaters were removed from Division 1 and ratings were recalculated, and my rating was 1200 exactly. And that's why I didn't have my second Division 2 SRM, and I had to just go with one. And yeah, I increased rating in the next Division 1 SRM, and I guess it's even easier to gain rating in Division 1 being 1200, but you know, who knows? And then in general, my progress through Topcoder was quite gradual. I was trying to become yellow in rating to gain 1500. I was then trying to become red. I was trying to get into top 10 in an SRM, and then I think I got 13s, and then I got 12s, and then I got 11s, and still not in top 10. I was really wishing to go into top 10 in some SRM. Yeah. And that's my first top 10 SRM was when I got 6th place. And then at some point, my second top 10 SRM was when I got 2nd place. Actually, I made like 7 successful challenges, and like that there was some problem in some tricky case which I found and many people didn't. And then at some point I was getting close to 3000 to the target rating, and I had like 2912, and I got 3rd place after Petr and AC Rush.
Whoa.
And I was really happy with my performance, and I got 2999.
Once again.
I mean, there are a lot of moments like that. I do remember pretty well. Maybe I should write a book about that at some point.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting, actually. I mean, when you end right there, right? It's yeah. So yeah. So tourist. Yeah. I mean, we're seeing comments that I can't picture tourist in Div 2. Yeah.
I mean, you have to picture me being like, I don't know, 11 years old, and then maybe you can picture me in Division 2.
Okay, what about you, misof? I think you'll probably pick one of the SRMs you had written, or you would go back and pick one you competed in.
I mean, one of like general strong memories at the early SRMs is that a lot of them started at 3 a.m. my local time. And back when I was a really dedicated competitor, I was trying to take part in all of the rounds. So I was trying to get up before 3 a.m. and I was kind of horribly broken, and the head didn't really function for the first half of the match, and you are still trying to do your best to implement something, and then after you sleep in the morning, you look at the problem again and you go like, what was I thinking of? I mean, but it was still a lot of fun to compete at night and try to not damage your rating by that much in these night SRMs. One particular round that comes to my mind is, I think it was one of the TCO online rounds, and the reason it's memorable was because of a bit of strategy that was done by Tomek Čajka. So this was a round that had a really tricky medium problem, and in this problem, so it seemed to be, the problem seemed to be really obvious. It seemed you could solve it really easily, greedily, and Tomek was among the first people who submitted the quick incorrect solution. And then at some point, he realized that the solution is wrong. But it was kind of in maybe the middle of the round or something like that. If he resubmitted then he would not gain a lot of points compared to resubmitting later, and he would be giving other people information about the issue with the problem. So he set on the resubmission. He actually resubmitted just seconds before the end of the round, so it was the difference only a few points for him. And then as the challenge phase started, he just took down the entire room of submissions. And like everybody jumped on the bandwagon because everybody saw that all of the top guys have solved the problem really quickly. It has to be something trivial. So I open it. I see I have the first solution in my mind. I implement it. I go with it. And I'm happy. I move on. I don't think twice about rechecking the problem. And nobody almost in that round thought about rechecking the solutions. And then there was this bloodbath in the challenge phase. So that was a memorable Topcoder round for me.
Yeah, we've had, and Tomek reminds me, we've had a lot of interesting Tomek TCOs as well. So, I mean, some other day we'll bring again Tomek back on, try and have him on a panel and discuss what he used to do, at TCOs, and open the heart problem and make everybody nervous, and then like all the things he used to do back in the day. Interesting. So I think, guys, we need to move on. We have if the SRM starting in 40 minutes, and there's something very interesting you're gonna see in the SRM today. So
in 45, right?
In 45 minutes. Yeah. Yeah. So thank you, guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Thank you so much for sharing all the interesting stories and answering all the questions I had, and all the questions that were on the chat. We'll probably do this again and bring you guys on. So thanks for being a sport and taking out time and doing this, and all the best for the SRM.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me and all of us.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. It was a pleasure to discuss. I have one quick question for you, Harshit. So this SRM has an incentive for people who last competed in 2014 to come back. Do you have any inside knowledge if any of the old guard is coming?
Yeah, we did see some of them come back during the regional rounds. We had MSD 555, we had Rolf Frumek come back and compete. So we did see them come back. So they already competed in a rated round. So that was their message to me, that we already competed in a rated round, and now we're not able to compete in this one, like to get that veteran T-shirt, which is being given out for this round. But yeah, I mean, I was just a minute back looking at the registration list and trying to see if somebody's coming back. But we plan to do this more and make sure that they know that it's happening and they can like come back and compete. We also had some suggestions that probably make these rounds unrated for them, because they don't want to really go and get their rating affected now. So yeah, we're gonna look at that and make sure that next time when we do this, we follow all the suggestions we've had this time, and bring most of them back and do a proper 2015 veteran guys, or 2010 veteran guys, or even 5. Bring on Reeds and bring on the old members we had during those days. Yes. So yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. Hey everyone. We will be so there's a lot happening at Topcoder, and we'll have VP of Community Adam Moorhead join us in a bit here itself on the stage, and we'll be discussing what's happening at Topcoder and what other interesting things we are doing at Topcoder and what's in there for you. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks everyone.
See you, Jerina. Bye.
See you.
All right, we are so Adam's here, and we will be starting with the presentation in a bit. Hey, Adam.
Hello.
All yours.
Are we're good to go?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I'm live. Hey. Okay. Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us today, and thanks to Harshit and thanks to everyone that was on that panel. It was great seeing everyone. Very excited about SRM 800. Very excited. I've been here for 15 years myself, so just being part of this, and of course getting to know everyone on that panel, seeing everyone every year at the Topcoder Open. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing everyone, hopefully this year in person in our regional events, or at the Topcoder Open, and if not, definitely next year. So I wanted to kind of talk about the different things that are going on at Topcoder, since I have an audience here. Let you all know all the great things that myself and Jesse and Harshit and Nick are working on and are continually trying to engage all of you. I want to let you know that our goal at Topcoder, my goal and Jesse's goal and Harshit and Nick, is to find great things to keep all of you working on your skills, earning money, finding jobs. And so, every day we are trying to come up with new ways to engage all of you, but also to engage our customers and to engage brands. Okay. So 2021, you know, we have a lot of things that we're putting together. And I like to say a lot that at Topcoder members are doers. So all of you are highly motivated. You are into competitive programming. You are into our development challenges, our QA challenges, algorithms, marathon matches. So, you know, it takes a lot to be engaged with that and to, you know, to compete, to be a top coder. So types of things that we have coming up are programs and sponsored programs with Aleph Edge, with Adobe Document Cloud. I'll share that here in a second. We just did MuleSoft certifications, and then we also have some Headspin certifications coming up. So Headspin University, which is Appium skill, and we'll be announcing that here at the end of the month, where we will have some, the ability for you to get certified. Then we are also continuing to add all of our to our educational content in Thrive. So continue to check out Thrive. In the past year, we've added over 1,000 articles in there. So please continue to help and contribute to all of those articles. And every Monday, Jesse has put together a get-together for all of you to talk with us. So every Monday, we essentially have what's the week at Topcoder, what you can expect, what you can, what kind of challenges we have coming up. So it's kind of a great way to talk with us, meet with us, ask questions. If you have any doubts, you can talk with us in person every Monday. We will also record those sessions so you can follow up with them. But it's really our way of working to stay in connection with you, and to also allow you insight into what's happening. And so you can plan your week, a couple weeks in advance, or even a month out. We've started a beta testers group. So this is to test out the Topcoder platform, to test out potential applications that our customers may be coming to us with. I just ran some design thinking workshops with this beta testers group to talk about how to improve the Topcoder profiles. How can we continue to improve the platform? So definitely check out the beta testers group. We're also doing a lot of great things with our Crowd for Good. So right now we're doing a Crowd for Good initiative with YERC, which is the Yellowstone Economic Research Center. So encourage everyone to check that out. And we will have more Crowd for Good. Our whole Crowd for Good initiative is really tied to things that all of you as community members might be interested in helping with. Okay, so we want to continue to bring global Crowd for Good things to the Topcoder community. And if you have suggestions or ideas of things that Topcoder and the Topcoder community could get behind, please do let us know. And then I'm going to jump over here. Make sure to always check out the Topcoder member programs. This is where we're announcing things like the Adobe program, gigs, gig work, things like that. For all of our India members, we're also, right now, we have a relationship with Future Skills here. So definitely go check out these Future Skills Prime. So always go and check out the member programs at Topcoder. As I mentioned earlier, we are doing some great work with Adobe Document Cloud. So we are moving into essentially a second stage of this. The first piece was mostly focused on small businesses, helping with it in the time of COVID. Now we are continuing that effort and focusing on skilling, upskilling, and learning Adobe Document Cloud and Adobe Sign. And we're currently doing learning challenges, and then we will also be doing some use case challenges. So everyone that jumped in on the first stage of this and did an amazing job, come back and check it out. And anyone new here, we have learning challenges. So it's a great way to get paid to learn. And then also use that skill in our larger prized challenges for use case 3 and use case 4. So definitely check out the Adobe Document Cloud series. One that I'm very excited about, something that I'm driving and working with Adobe on, and I would, of course, love to expand all the things that they do here with Topcoder. Reminder to everyone that the Topcoder Open, I believe we are in stage 3 right now. So make sure that you get in and get your qualification, compete on challenges and get your points up. But we are also, make sure that you check out your regionals. We have essentially split up the world into different regions. So please make sure that you check with us about your region, what we're going to do for your regional, if it will be in person or if it will be virtual. We're still working on figuring that out, but please make sure you check on that, because we'd love to see you, love to talk with you, and make sure that we have a great event and that you can make it to your regional event. This is SRM 800, and I'm very excited to continue to talk about rapid development matches, or what we call RDMs. So RDMs, I would say, is the 2021 version of us trying to match or mimic what we've done with SRMs, but more for development technologies, development tool sets. So these are fast dev challenges, and these are fast dev challenges similar to SRMs, where we have an easy problem, medium problem, and a hard problem. Okay. And we're only at, I think, RDM 3 or RDM 4. So this is really a great time to get started with this. So someday we can be talking about RDM 800. And, we're still crafting and adjusting the format and working on it. But I'm very excited about this. And, similar to SRMs, we have RDM problem writers. So if anybody is interested in that, and then, of course, being an RDM competitor, this is where we will continue to grow ratings and skills within this. So please check out RDMs. I do think it's going to be one of the next great big things here at Topcoder. So to practice and to get good at RDMs, we have Topcoder Skill Builder competitions. Okay, so Topcoder Skill Builder competitions are in that same format. Easy, medium, hard, but they're not going to have the same time element that an RDM is going to be. Okay, so check out Topcoder Skill Builder competitions. This is a great way to learn new skills. This is a great way to practice for RDMs, and this is where we are engaging with brands to have them engage with you on new technologies. So you'll see that in our skill builders, we're doing things with ServiceNow. We're doing things with Appium. We're doing things with different Salesforce. So we're doing things in different technologies with different companies. And this is where, Harshit and myself and Jesse and Nick are very excited to engage in, modern, future, next technologies for all of you to learn those and skill into them. And that's where we really feel the skill builder this year is going to be a game changer. Also, the goal of skill builders is going to be, help you also get a gig. Okay, so please go and check out our Topcoder gigs. And so this year we are now, and last year we are officially, offering gig opportunities, which are freelance opportunities. And skill builders are a great way to test to see and show on your profile that you are qualified for a gig or have that skill. So check out the gig work opportunities. We're all very excited about these at Topcoder. Many of you are working in Topcoder gigs right now. Our customers have been very excited to meet you and have been very happy with the abilities of a Topcoder member. So please do check out Topcoder gigs. And this is something that you'll be seeing and hearing more about. So if any of you like working remote, which we all are right this minute, if many of you like continuously working from home or having short bursts of work, this is our way of securing good work opportunities for you. Okay. And then we're currently also running what I brought back the digital run for I would say, what's the word I'm looking for a short time, for a limited time. We're running the front end development cup up through the end of Topcoder Open qualification. So this will go through for a few more months. It's a total of 8 months that we're running this, and this is for front end competitions. So anything that's React or Angular or HTML5, and you can qualify and earn bonus funds, bonus money as part of this. So we've paid out November, we're paying out December and January here shortly. And we will also have a page that will show the leaderboard similar to what many of you may be familiar with from a long time ago. Okay, so we used to have the digital run. This is us working to bring back the digital run in some form, maybe as a limited run right now, but looking to see where we could include it in other areas as a great bonus program for all of you at Topcoder. So thank you. Good luck, everyone, with SRM 800. Very excited. You know, this is a big day for us. Please do check out all the great things that are going on at Topcoder. If you have questions about any of these things, you have all of us on the Topcoder community team here to answer your questions. And also check in with us every Monday if you want to just say hi. If you have questions, if you have doubts, we're here to help. We also want to help all of you get to that next level. So those Monday calls are to talk about those kinds of things. If you're interested in the gig/freelance work, I believe over in the expo section, or Jesse, keep me honest here, we have Corey here to answer any of your questions today in Hopin. So yeah, if any of you have, Harshit?
Yeah, she's there. Yeah, Corey's in the
in the expo?
Yes.
Yes. So go over to the expo over in the left side. We'll have Corey, and she's here to answer any questions you have about gigs. So if you have any doubts, you're not sure if you qualify, or if you feel like you're overqualified, please do go talk to her and see if there is an opportunity for you right now to possibly get a Topcoder gig. Again, we are here to work with you to bring new great opportunities to you. So speak up, let us know things that maybe we haven't thought about. If there are brands that we should go talk to, if there are certifications we should go and secure for you as a community member, this is what I definitely want to focus on this year. Okay. Again, so excited about SRM 800. Thanks to the panel we just had. It's amazing seeing all of them up there. It's amazing just getting all of them in the same room, so to speak. It's so very excited about what we're doing today. So Harshit, back over to you.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks a lot for taking us through what we all have been doing. I mean, a lot of competitive programming members sometimes don't find out what's really happening at Topcoder and all the interesting things we are bringing, and it's a great opportunity to let them know what's really happening, the partnerships, the RDMs, the skill builders, and a lot of things. So guys, do check out RDMs, do check out skill builders, and do check out what we are doing with Adobe's and other partnerships we are bringing. And of course, there are a lot of prizes too. So while you are doing competitive programming, it's fun to go back and compete in some development competitions as well, and get a development rating as well on Topcoder, and that helps as much as the algorithm rating helps you out there. So do compete in those competitions, get a rating, get rated, and win some good prize money, cash prize money. So yeah.
Yeah. Just I want to give a shout out here to Harshit. So the RDM is something been wanting to do for a while now, for a long time. Just how do we take the idea of SRMs and extend that into other areas at Topcoder? So Harshit has worked very hard to try and make this happen, to keep the energy and the just the whole brand around SRMs, and how can we extend that into RDMs. It's still us trying things. It's experimental. We want to get it right, and I think as I said, we're in RDM 3, RDM 4. It will kind of change, just like SRMs grew and they evolved. RDMs will grow and evolve, and right now is a great time to get in at the beginning, and of course help us craft that to be kind of that next thing at Topcoder. And again, we are also just like SRMs, we'll have RDM problem writers. So if you're interested in those kinds of things, we're interested in you letting us know that, okay? And then we're also working on making these things as automated as possible, right? So again, what is the next version of an RDM type arena? What's the next version of an SRM arena, which I'm sure you all would love for me to talk about, those kinds of things. But very excited about these kind of engagements for all of you. So.
Yeah, and yes, automated, as Adam said. So these RDMs, they have automated scoring at the backend. So if you do a development hackathon, if you do a development competition, you might find the review happening later after a week or so, and once you're done with the competition. But these RDM competitions, they have automated scoring. So the moment you submit, you get a score, just like you do for the SRMs. So I'm just going to post the RDM link again. Take a look. There's on the doc. There is a link to go and compete in the RDM practice challenge we are running. So try and compete in the practice challenge. Get a feel of it. Do go into the forums and give us any suggestions you have how we can make it more exciting. We are building this out right now, and we really want to make it big. So, and we need all of your feedback and support to make it big. So do submit to the practice RDM. Give a suggestion in the forums, and we'll try and make these as amazing as SRMs are for you.
So Harshit, what's next? Are we jumping into what we're doing?
I have so we are 20 minutes away from the SRM. So I have a small deck to quickly take everyone through how to get started with the SRMs and what are the competitive programming opportunities we have for them at Topcoder and how they can be a part of it. So quickly going through that, and then all of you should go into the arena and start registering and make sure you are on the round and competing today in SRM 800. So yeah, I'm just gonna share my screen and.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Adam. Thanks a lot for bringing all these things to Topcoder. Okay, so we are closer to the round. It's time to go back, get your water bottles, get your coffees, get your writing pads up, and make sure you're ready to compete in the high-paced round. So, but I'll just take you through this quickly. If you are a newbie, this will help you get started on the SRMs and make you get ready for the round today. Okay, so yeah. So, okay, how do you find SRMs? That's been a question for long, and we are trying to build a homepage for competitive programming at Topcoder, which will be auto-updated and all the results would be there and you would be able to find things there itself. But here we are. So you can go on to the community events. So there are 2 links out there. I'm going to paste those links in the chat as well. So you can go out to these links. There's a community calendar. You can add that Google Calendar to your calendar itself and make sure you're updated by the rounds whenever we schedule them. Or you should subscribe to Topcoder newsletter. We send out a very interesting monthly newsletter which has all the Topcoder updates, what's happening on the TCO leaderboard, or what happened in the rounds in the last month, and what are the upcoming rounds. So this would always help you know when are these rounds coming up. Moving on, how do you start competing? Where do these competitions happen? So they happen in the competition arenas. So we have these 2 competition arenas. We have a web arena, we have a Java applet, which is the older applet, which we have been using since last 20 years. So generally, a lot of competitors still use the Java applet because it has a lot of extra features, and also, it gives you an ability to have some plugins and enhance your experience of competing. So you can choose either of them. Once again, I'll just copy the link into the chat, and you guys can go and start looking at which one do you want to use and set up. The easiest would be right now to go into the web arena and set it up. In case not, when you have some time, you can definitely set up the Java applet as well. It's a little tricky to set the Java applet, but it has the best features to help you get started and start competing. Okay. Once you have chosen your arena and you are inside the competition arena, it is very important to register for a contest. So we have 10 minutes left to register for this contest. So if you are still here and you haven't registered for the contest, it is very important for you to go in and register for this contest. So I'll just paste the link of the web arena. It's arena@topcoder.com. Open it in a new tab. Keep listening to me for a while, and then you can register for the contest and be ready for the contest itself. Okay, if you are in the applet, you might see the image at the top here. You have to go and click on the register, click on the active contest tab at the top, click on the contest you want to compete in, and then click on register. So once you register, a pop-up would come up which would ask you for some terms and conditions. You can accept it and be registered for the round. Once again, it is important to register on time. The registration ends in exactly 10 minutes from now. So make sure you register for the round and you're all ready and set to compete. All right, moving on. So things to know before you compete. If you want to find out how many competitors are registered, that feature is only available in the applet. So if you click on the active contest, you have a button to click on registrants, and you can find out how many members we have registered for the contest at the moment. And what do you need to know about the divisions and ratings? Yeah, I'll come to that, Leapfrogger. So what do you need to know about divisions? So basically there are two divisions. If you are rated more than 1200, you are a division 1 competitor and you would only have access to division 1 problems. If you are if your rating is 1199 and less, or if you're a newbie, you would be in division 2 and then you would have to compete in division 2. And then if your rating climbs above 1200 in the other round, and then you can compete in division 1. If you register and do not open any problem, you won't be rated. So if that was your question, Leapfrogger, if you do not open any problem, you won't be rated. Thanks, Jason. Okay, so what is assigned to a room and what is room assignment? So basically, once the registration closes, we have a room assignment algorithm, and we assign 20 members in a particular room. And once this room is set up, so basically, and this helps you during the challenge phase. We'll go and see why 20 members are set up in a room and why does it matter during the challenge phase. So you're assigned to once again, room assignment is just you're assigned to a room of 20 members, and we will actually talk about how it works in the challenge phase. Okay, the coding phase, basically this is the one where you code. If you are in the applet, you might see once you enter into your room, you might see a drop-down box. You can go ahead and click on any of the problem you want to open. You would see points listed out there. Let's say 250, 500, and 1000, or so you can click on 250 to open the easy problem and start competing on it. Once that opens your problem, you please make sure on Topcoder you have to pay close attention to the definition section, and you have to make sure that your class name and method name match the definition values which are shown in the definition tab. So the definition section. So make sure you take a look at that and then code your submission. So I think I've hidden that part a little, but if you see that the class name was ringless and the code written here, the submission starts with the same class name with the same name itself. So make sure you follow this and return your answer. That's the coding part, and then comes the challenge phase. This is where the rooms come into play. So once you are assigned to a room, so in challenge phase you can actually go and basically look at other members' problems and try and hack them on a test case which you think might fail their solution, either by time limit exceed or by or any error that might come on or any wrong answer on that test case. So that challenge phase it's basically you can only challenge the members in your room. That's where the room comes into picture. So you have to you can only challenge the members in your room. So only 20 people in your room are going to be available. Only their solutions are going to be available for challenge. If you are in the Java applet, you have to click on the summary tab, which is going to be in your room, and the room leaderboard would open up. And once you click on the score of the problem, the solution would open up, and you would find a challenge button below to challenge if you think you want to challenge. And if you're in the web arena, you can again go to the leaderboard, the room leaderboard, and you can double click on the point value and open the problem statement. Okay. So once you click on the challenge button, once you decided, I'm going to go ahead and challenge this problem, you'll find a window like this, and you can enter the arguments you want and click OK, and you would quickly find out if your challenge failed or if it was successful or unsuccessful. A successful challenge increases your score by 50 points, and an unsuccessful challenge decreases your score by 25 points. So that's challenge phase. So I'll just go and reiterate the things we just discussed. You have to register for the round. You will be assigned to a room. There's a room assignment algorithm. On the basis of that, you would be assigned to a room. And once during the coding phase, make sure you take a look at the definition tab and you understand how to submit your code, and make sure you follow the same names you have in the definition tab. Otherwise, your submission would fail. Once the coding phase ends, there is a 5-minute break, which we call intermission phase. Once the intermission phase is over, the challenge phase begins. The challenge phase is basically focused for you, allow you to go and look at other member submission and start challenging. So yeah, and once you submit once you decided, you looked at the problem, you looked at the solution, you want to challenge it, you can go ahead and submit on the challenge, and if it is successful, you get 50. If it is unsuccessful, you get -25. So yeah, that's that. And then there's a system testing phase. Once the challenge phase ends, we start with quickly process the leftover system tests and make sure they are complete, and announce the results and the rating changes as well. And you can see the final score in the final leaderboard in active contest and division summary inside the applet. And if you want to do that in the web arena, that's pretty much available. You would see that on the page itself. Okay, this is important. So if at any point during the contest you want to contact the admins, you can either type admins : and start typing your message from anywhere you are, doesn't matter. If you type that, we would get a message. If you want to, send a message, there are two ways basically. Either you can go to the chat window and not expand it and just type admins : and send a message, or otherwise you can select admins and then send a message, and it would reach to us and we would be able to answer your question. If you want to whisper to us, whisper is a feature in the chat room where nobody else would see it but the admins. So, or the member you are sending a whisper to. So if you select this drop down, you can select whisper and then type admins and send it to the admins if you want to whisper to the admins. Okay, that's that. I'll just take 2 more minutes to explain you what kind of competitive programming opportunities do we have at Topcoder. Basically, we have problem writing, we have problem testing, that's pretty general. We have editorial writing as well. So we pay $100 to the editorial writer. So if you are interested in writing editorials for Topcoder contest, you can reach out to me at harshit@topcoder.com. I'll just put in my email ID in the chat. And if you are interested in writing or anything that's on the deck right now, you can go ahead and reach out to me. We do have article writing as well. So if you are interested in writing articles for Topcoder or for our Thrive, we have an education portal called Thrive. So if you are interested in going out and writing articles for us, it might be a problem of a month article or probably a topic you understand really well and you want to share it as an education piece. We do pay for these articles, so you can start writing articles for us as well. We are starting up with video editorials and contest screencasts. So if you are interested in creating video editorials and explaining how you solve the problems, you can reach out to us and we will we are still working on these. How would they be? But this is the future we are planning with. We want to come up with some video editorials because we're seeing a lot of interesting streams by a lot of competitive programmers, and we think it would be great for the community to also have insights on how to solve the SRM problems or Topcoder problems when it comes to showing it on a video and explaining it in a video format, not just in editorial written article format. So we have these opportunities at Topcoder, and the next slide I'm going to reveal what T-shirt do we have for you for this SRM. So this is the T-shirt we have for you for this SRM. So you're competing for this. There are a lot of T-shirts at stake. So I think you would have seen the blog, or you would have seen the wording out there in the email and the details. So this is the T-shirt we are giving out. So do go ahead and compete. And we are 2 minutes away from the registration end. Make sure you go back to the applet or the web arena and register yourself ASAP before the registration ends. So that's all. That was a pretty fast session to take you through the SRMs. I think I'm gonna probably re-record this and make sure you have this in detail, and I can talk about some other things as well we have with SRM. So maybe bring up some plugins and give you an opportunity to understand those how they work as well and how they really add to your competition experience. Okay, so that's all, guys. Get into competing. We are going to be in the applet answering your questions. Once again, I'm going to move back to the admin part. That's how you contact us if you need any help in the applet or in the web arena, and we will be able to answer your questions. So we'll go manage the round, and you guys go and compete. All the best for your for the SRM, and do win a t-shirt, because there's a very interesting t-shirt out there. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and we will be back right after the round here itself in Hopin for the post-match discussion, and we'll have everybody we had on the panel, and Lewin and Michael. So we'll have a few more members join us, and there will be a whiteboard, and we'll be discussing these problems. So all the best, and see you in the arena.